Everybody has to poop in a cup and get it tested.
Well, you can just get like hair, you know.
Is that the same thing?
I'll just walk
Yes.
around and
Okay.
just get some.
Poop in this cup now,
Do it.
Janice. Do it now.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Rob. Join with me are my host, Lou.
What's up, guys?
And Mike.
Did you know that Lucian doesn't have enough toes to count to 300? Fun fact.
I am a biracial baby, but yes, that is true.
Wait, what?
Also,
What am I
forewarning,
missing?
Lou, just so you know, Mike is editing this week.
Oh, tough. All right.
I forgot about that.
I'll be a lot smarter about how I use my words.
So each week we like to start off the podcast with an icebreaker. Feel free to leave it on any of our socials or join our Discord and ask us there. Lou, you're in charge this week. What is our icebreaker?
All right, this one's a weird one, but I've never heard anybody ask this question before. So, are you a liquid guy or a solid guy?
What are we
Do you
talking
like
about?
Do you like liquids more or solids more? I mean, it's your choice.
For when it comes to
Liquids.
going number 2, I'm gonna go solid.
Okay, not what I was going for, but
Well, you said
I'll
take
take
it
it.
as you want, so I'd figure I'd
Take
take
it
a
as you want
direction that someone wouldn't think of.
no, yeah, pooping, delicious.
What?
Uh,
Now, if it's like food
Yeah,
or
I,
drinks, I'm gonna take food.
so solid still? You're a solid guy.
I guess I'm just a solid guy.
Yeah.
You're a solid guy. You love to hear it.
See, I think being a liquid guy doesn't mean you don't enjoy solid food.
That's true. Yeah.
But like, I love me a beverage. It doesn't matter whether it's a soft drink, something a little harder, juice in the morning. Oh my gosh! Like, yeah. For me, it's like if I could only choose between like, hey, you can have all beverages but no more solid food, or you can only drink water because you got to survive. If you
Give me
but
solids,
like,
I'll be
you can have
healthier
food.
for
I'd
it.
have water and food.
Yeah, I'd be healthier for
But
it.
oh, for sure. But like at the end of the day, I just I love me a beverage. Raspberry lemonade? Are you kidding me? Come on.
It's delicious. So I am also a liquid guy. I tend to like liquids more than solids. I am a beverage guy. I am still hardcore riding on Liquid Death. I am a huge fan still. And they're coming out with new flavors ever so often. So if you want to sponsor a small podcast, or even just ship me a bunch, I'm definitely down for that. But I also like sauces. I'm a huge sauce
True,
fan.
sauces is a good game. Sauce games.
Yes, I love a good ranch. I like a good barbecue, hot sauces. And then I love the fancy sauces like Chick-fil-A sauces or like the house sauce,
The top sauce, patent pending.
the top sauce, pending. I live for sauces. And then yeah, I enjoy the beach. I enjoy good showers. Yeah, I think I'm a liquid guy.
But like, here's
That's
the
true.
other
For
alternative.
swimming, I also prefer water to ice. No question.
I don't know, the polar bear swim. It's a camp memory right there.
There you go. What a callback.
Yeah. Nope.
No, yeah, it wasn't that guy.
I mean, yes, that's true, but I'm still gonna take
So
warm water.
what would
to
be the
ice.
equivalent of Mike said it's solid food and water? Would it just be like drinks and celery? Like that would be the equivalent? Like just the most blandest food?
I mean, you can put
If you had,
proteins and greens powder, and like you can probably, it would be unpleasant, but you could get a good chunk of your nutrients through liquid if you had to.
get a steak shake.
Ooh. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing is I wouldn't try to have a steak shake. It'd be like, all right, let's get some whey protein or some protein powder, maybe just like a smoothie with some peanut butter in
But
it.
could you
know,
so question.
Greens, fruits.
Could you have a
Dairy.
smoothie if you had to blend down solids? Because then it's still a solid, so you can't use those. So you couldn't do ice, you'd have to just do water or milk.
Yeah, I don't think that if we like, I mean, this is 100% an appeal to majority fallacy, but I think if we went out and polled 100 people and asked them if a smoothie was a liquid or a solid, I think we'd get a pretty sturdy majority towards liquid.
Yeah, I feel like the only people that would answer it as a salad, they'd be wearing a certain type of hat and they would be pushing their glasses up.
What do you have against weebs?
It's not just weebs, but
Oh,
yeah.
I thought he was specifically talking about nerdy MAGA folk. That makes a lot more sense.
I do have another question. If you partake, if not,
Sure,
then
go
I'll
for
wait.
it. Hit us with it.
Cool. What is an intrusive thought that you wish you could act on?
Oh, Jesus.
Tax fraud.
You don't want to ask me that question.
Hypothetically,
Let's go back to the
allegedly,
liquids.
allegedly, tax fraud.
Tax fraud's a good one. Money man Rob. You never disappoint.
Hey, it's something I can say that won't get me in jail.
What happens? What is it when it's not called corkscrewing, but when you're driving and another person's driving a little bit ahead of you and you hit their car and you turn them 180? What's that called?
I don't know a name, but yeah, I do it in video games all the time. You do that?
I was gonna say it's the move from Need for Speed. It's a badass move.
Yeah, I can't remember. It has a name for it, but I'm really struggling with. Put it in the comments, guys, if you know what the name of this is.
Oh, we're keeping
But yeah,
this?
I drove like an hour today, and there was a couple times if it was a robot in the car and I knew that nobody else would get hurt, I would be doing that constantly to people, almost all the time. I only did it once, and it was when I was go-karting with my dad, and I turned him out, or whatever you call it. Turn him out's not a great term. And he gave me a nice little talk. He did the wagging of the finger a little bit to me, but it was a intrusive thought. So yeah, that's me.
I'll tell you what. I only got 4 out of 5 things for my bucket list. So
Spoiler.
I'm gonna save this answer.
Is that
What do you mean spoiler? Didn't we say we were doing this at the end of the last episode?
Shh. People might not know.
Spoiler
This could be their
that-
first time.
They
What?
read the episode title probably.
You're assuming
And
a lot
also-
about our listeners.
who scrolls all the way down and listens to the last one? That's absolutely
Well, the
ridiculous.
most recent one is the
That's where you check the
top
quality.
one.
Like if you're, yeah, usually it is the most recent is the top. And usually if you want to like gauge how podcast is, you see how the most recent one sounds. You're like, all right, do I want to put up with some crappy audio or like crappy quality at first that gets to some better stuff? But if it's like the newest one's crap, you can, extrapolate there.
Oh shoot, we might want to drop 2 episodes at once then. I'll cut that out. That was mean.
No, I just figured that whole conversation would cut out. And spoiler. I mean,
fair.
you're in charge, so it's up to you. Well, this week's episode is brought to you by our Discord. Be sure to check out the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description below. We'd love to talk to you, get to know you. The only way you're going to meet Mike outside of his cave. But Lou, what's the topic for this week?
Topic this week is top 5 bucket list. Have you guys created a bucket list before? I remember being in high school and then making me make a bucket list.
I did it in college, but yeah, I have one. I don't know how many's on here. I meant to do that before.
Like for yourself?
Yeah, for myself.
Nice.
I have never made a bucket list. This is the closest I've got. Because for the most part, if I want to do something, I just start working on it. And I also don't have a lot of like high-end ambitions. And so like anytime I'm like, oh, this would be cool. Like I almost don't let myself want things that are impossible. Like they just automatically go into like, oh, that would be nice, but like not something I'm going to go for. And then things that are obtainable, I'm like, oh, well, shoot, how about I start working on obtaining that?
I currently have 55 things in my bucket. 55 drops in my bucket for my bucket list.
55 out of what?
I would just say I have 55. Like that's the amount of things
Oh,
I have on my bucket
okay.
list.
Gotcha. Very cool.
I like the bucket list format because then, I mean, granted, I've only checked like 2 of them off my bucket list. But then you can see it's kind of like it's a real life progress bar. And a lot of times I'll like, oh, I want to do this, and then I'll forget about it. So having a list that I can reference back for goals or whatever is nice for me.
Yeah, for sure. So I got this idea because I was watching an anime called Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. And if you haven't watched it before, I recommend that you watch it. It's a pretty good anime. But the idea of the anime, I'm not going to go too far into it, but the idea is that this guy was working, because Japanese work culture, I think we even talked about it in the pod, is really bad. And he's working this terrible job, and then he finds out that zombies are happening, and it's completely destroying the world. And instead of him being sad that this is happening, he's actually happy because he just doesn't have to go to work anymore. So he gets to do whatever he wants to do. And so he creates this bucket list of all the things he wants to do. And one of the first things is day drinking and cleaning his apartment. So as everybody's getting eaten alive, he's day drinking and just cleaning up everything. And I don't know, it was just like a really cool moment for me. So I came up with this. So I like making pros and cons as I get older. And so like the pros of bucket lists if you've never made one, is that it's something that you can look forward to. I think that's always like good to always go back, and I think Robert did a pretty good job explaining it. And I think it brings a little bit more meaning into your life personally. Even if you don't follow through your bucket list, at one point you did want to do that. And I think it's cool to go back and be like, huh, why did I want to learn how to play a guitar when I don't like music very much? Just like silly stuff like that. I don't know. And then the cons is if you haven't checked off anything on your bucket list, that can be kind of demoralizing. It's kind of like, oh no, I'm 40 years old and I still have this whole bucket list. And then some of it can be superficial or performative, which if you're like me, I thrive on performing well. And it's like killed my whole personality sometimes if I don't perform well in the smallest task. So, yep. You want me to start off?
Yep. What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5, which is kind of cheesy, but as I get older, this is like becoming a real important thing in my life, is having friends when I'm older. I think is a huge thing on my bucket list. And I can't check it off until I get old, but I'm working on
old?
We're going to say like 60, 70.
Yeah, Lou, I don't know if our friendship's going to last that long. I'm sure you should.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Will I still be alive then? Who knows? No.
That's fair. My hope was that you made a big in the oral business. Oral business. Oh my gosh.
No, I don't do that type of work. Let me tell you.
Darn, how'd you know what my top 3 was?
Oh no. In the oil business, and that I would live in your basement. That was the whole plan. I don't know if you remember that plan or not, but I've shared it with you.
You have. I remember
a couple
you saying
times.
that. But then I decided to work for the government, and protect the environment. So yeah.
Hopefully that changes, but we'll see. I got high hopes for you.
Hopefully he burns the world to the ground, but I can live in his basement. Lose bucket list.
Exactly. So I have a grandmother. I have both my grandparents, and even my parent now. They don't have a lot of friends, and I think it's just like kind of sad, not to have somebody to share life with.
What
That's
happened
my
to
number
Christian
5.
in this circumstance?
Christian is a friend. She's my best friend, but I think it's good to also have other friends. I think it's beneficial for your only friend not to be your wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number 5. Short and sweet.
So my number 5 is very superficial, and now I'm thinking about it, it's not going to have very much discussion, I don't think. But it's something I always wanted to do. It ties back to one of my favorite movies as a kid, and honestly now. But I've always wanted to go 88 miles per hour in a DeLorean. Simple as that. Very achievable goal, and I think it's good to have achievable, like easy rungs on your bucket list ladder. So I think this would be an easy one to achieve. I have not achieved it yet, but it's there. I gotta learn probably how to drive stick, which is that. I guess that should also be on my bucket list. But
I remember when you used to do all those drives down to college that you would gun it down there sometimes and go like over 100 miles an hour.
Maybe not. I would definitely speed, but yeah.
I think you said like
I like going fast.
Yeah, I think you said your truck pushed like 120 or something like that.
No,
you don't remember
it tops out at 107.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Well,
allegedly. No, I think it was about 107. My other truck, I think, was 96, 97. I never got that fast on I think I got up to 100 on my Grand Am, but I didn't push it too much. That was my initial answer for what's your intrusive thought. I'm like, to go fast. I'm like, I kind of do that when I'm not in my work vehicle.
Allegedly.
Hey, it's safer to go with the flow of traffic than to go slower or faster than them. And there's some highways in Michigan where if you're not going 90, you're getting passed.
That sounds like something that you would tell an officer that.
I would ask him, when's the last time you calibrated that gun? And then I get tased and maced and everything. It's like he was resisting arrest. All right, Mike, what did you come up for number 5?
So I want to get a coworker fired, and I want to frame him.
Oh my freaking goodness!
This Allegedly. Is my answer to lose. No. This is my answer to lose intrusive thought question. And like, I've just always thought it like I've had people speak untruths and not had jobs as a result of that, and it just sounds like so much fun. So I wouldn't do it, but that is an intrusive thought I have all the time. Is like, oh, I just want to frame job this person and get rid of them.
How easily? Let's walk through it. Let's discuss.
I think it depends on how like heinous the crime is, but you don't want to get. I'm guessing Mike doesn't want to get them into legal trouble. Just has them lose their livelihood. So I mean, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want them to go to jail. I want them to be free while they suffer.
Do you just out of curiosity? You don't have to give a name, but do you have someone pictured in your mind right now?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, yeah, you can hear it in his voice. I can't
The venom.
you ask the question. Yeah, there's
Well,
somebody.
it's for the the audience. I just
Ah,
We talked about work earlier
Yeah,
before the pod.
that was for the toppers, Lou. Come on.
yeah, sorry. I apologize. All right, let's hear it. How would you do it?
See, that's the thing is I don't know. I try not to think about it too much, but it would definitely be something where it's like, all right, I'm going to overthink the heck out of this and then get them busted for something that is so stupid no one would ever believe that it's a frame job.
They took too long in the bathroom.
You just be the poop bandit. And that's what I thought this conversation was going to go.
He didn't flush the toilet and blames
No,
it on
not
them.
not even that, but
Problem with that is there's DNA, so
do you think his work is going to DNA
Dude, I don't know.
feces?
If I was the
also-
boss, I'd say we're getting to the bottom of this.
Also, then you would have to get everybody's DNA and then match it with that DNA.
Hey,
so
if
you're going to
you
make
don't
all
give
your
your
employees
DNA, you're looking guilty in my eyes.
everybody has to poop in a cup and get it tested.
Well, you can just get like hair,
Is that the same thing?
I'll just walk
Yes.
around and
Okay.
just get rub my nail against their skin, get some flakes of skin. I don't know.
How am I not the craziest looking person by the end of this?
Poop in this cup now, Janice. Do it now.
If you don't poop in the cup, then you pooped on the floor. The only logical explanation.
All right. Well, I'm happy that you're not following your intrusive thoughts, Mike. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For all the Baldur's Gate fans out there, I like to call it your dark urge.
That just sounds sexual to me. I don't know.
Well, okay, what doesn't sound sexual to you?
That's a good point.
In this
All
podcast
right.
so far, pretty much nothing.
All right, my number 4.
Sure, go for it.
All right,
You're
number
feeling
4
it.
is having a dream kitchen. So I mean, it's no surprise.
Objection!
For real? That's one of yours?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. So I guess we could both talk about it. Yeah, so I love to cook. Me and Mike both love to cook.
I had to do it. No, it's
Was
not
that
mine.
for me, or did you also have Dream
I
Kitchen?
did it for you.
Oh. I liked my version better, but
Best of both worlds.
That's fun.
that is true.
Yeah, I love it. I would love a dream kitchen. My kitchen's very small at my house, and it's not a lot of gadgets. I'm a big gadget guy, but the problem is you have to
best.
find
space.
Yeah, you have to have space, and that's the biggest thing. So, I want a double oven. I low key want a flat top oven. I want a sous vide. I want.
Reach.
I want it all.
I want it all.
I want a stand mixer.
I got a stand mixer.
That's cool. Yeah, those things are expensive, man. $300.
You gotta have it on your wedding registry. That's what I did.
I don't know what we had. I forgot what our big ticket item was on our wedding registry.
Also,
That's
I think ours was secondhand, but I mean, it's clean and it works. So
Yeah, it works. So yeah, I mean, with a stand mixer, man, you can freaking make sausages. You know, like
you get the meat grinder attachment.
You get the meat grinder. Yeah, dude.
I want to.
You're living the dream. So yeah, I
Hey,
want
Lou.
a dream kitchen.
Hey, Lou.
What up?
You come over here sometime. I'll let you take the stand mixer for a ride.
You have stickers on it?
No.
Can I put stickers on yours?
No, don't tell my
Oh,
wife
okay.
that.
Okay.
She loves stickers.
I'm surprised you don't have stickers on it. I'm gonna put googly eyes on your stand mixer.
All of
But
that.
when it shakes, the googly eyes shake.
Mike, what's in
Yeah,
your?
other things I would want.
Yeah.
Flat top for sure is just, how can you say no to that? Sous vide as well, without a doubt. I want a crazy sous vide array. I would love to have a pizza oven. Like, I think I would want it to be somehow connected to the patio
Very
so
cool.
that you could seamlessly transition from the kitchen to the outdoors. And then, you could have a smoker or, whatever other things you want to be cooking with, but not have to be, indoors to use it, which would be kind of the annoying part.
Could you use a pizza
Yeah.
oven for like a bread oven? I don't know much about it.
I don't know if you
it
can or
do
not.
Both.
I mean, it would have to be lower, right? Because the pizza oven, it rips, right? So it can get that crust at the bottom. but potentially. I mean, that's how they did. That's how they did bread back in the day.
Bread oven bread, fantastic. I've only had it a handful of times.
So good though. Yeah. Or like you could do pita. I know they use a similar thing for making pita bread.
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
It is hard to beat fresh pita bread. Yeah, the stand mixer. Honestly, I just want the standard stuff you'd have in a kitchen, and I want space. Right, I have a tiny little galley kitchen that I'm working with, and it like I'm not even that big a dude, and it is cramped in there.
Yeah, I would love to have like a meat slicer or like there's just thing that you can use to just make fries. Like you put a potato in it, and like you push it in, it cuts in the fry length. That'd be great.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My number 4 is a travel location. It is in England, and it is I want to go to Stafford Castle. Pretty obvious.
Can't fault you there.
My name's in the castle, so I just want to take a flag, plant it, and say this is my birthright. Yeah, I just think it'd be fun. I'm a big castle fan. This one, it did fall into disarray and hasn't been restored, but I just think it'd be cool. If a castle has your last name on it, I feel like it's worth a stop. And I also get to check out England when I'm there. So pretty self-explanatory for this one for me.
We're gonna have a quick podcast.
Yeah.
Keep running through this.
If you want, I can fill it out. It was built by Robert Day Stafford, I think in the 1400s, the original one. It's been through many stages. Originally it was like a dirt mound fort, but then, it was your regular castle type thing. So, yeah. If I could do anything I want with it, I would make it like almost like an Airbnb where you come and like live. You can stay there for a couple nights and live like you were in the Middle Ages. I think that'd be fun. Or one thing is, so don't take this idea. If you do, I'm going to get the top podcast lawyers after you. But I'd love to make a reality TV show. We have like celebrities go and like learn how to be like a knight or things like that, and they like it's almost like a Survivor where they compete against it, and they're just like living medieval lives. I think it'd be funny to see how bad like famous people are, like just basic like riding horses and things like that. I think it'd be a fun show to watch. Have them churn butter in the morning.
I'd watch that.
Live in their Amish paradise.
Kind of like Survivor-ish.
Yeah,
kind of vibes. Yeah. Potentially.
Yep.
And like instead of getting voted out, it's like whoever loses the joust, gets last place in the jousting tournament. I think it'd be a fun watch. Mike, what's your number 4?
All right, my number 4. Which one do I want to pick? All right, I've always wanted to get the chance to write a Scooby-Doo movie. There are some incredible Scooby-Doo movies. There are some truly atrocious Scooby-Doo movies. And I would like a chance to stamp my name to one and hopefully make it a good one.
Why is it so Velma-centric? I don't know, man. The creator just really liked it. She's on her hands and knees a lot this
Actually,
movie.
I think Velma's had more than her share of character development. But at the same time, it's like it's tough because they just like restart the character development pretty regularly. Mm-hmm. And so like it's this question of like, okay, am I building on what came before or am I starting from scratch? I don't know. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to be able to explore characters. I think it'd be nice to have a Scooby-Doo movie where everybody gets a character arc instead of just one person kind of being the main focus.
Would you have the monster?
I really haven't put too much thought into this.
Would you have the monster be real or fake?
Monster would not be real.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
I mean, it has
Classic.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, it has to be like that, right?
So this would be a full feature-length film, not like the 90 minutes most Scooby-Doo movies are.
I don't have a problem with 90 minutes as a feature length. Personally, I think 90 minutes is kind of the bare minimum. But it would also be cool to do a full feature and be able to actually like explore the characters on a slightly more mature level and have them have some real issues. That could be kind of cool. But at the same time, you don't want to stray too far away from the core premise that makes Scooby-Doo what it is. It's a challenge. You want to appease the long-term fans without overdoing it on the fan service, and you also want to make it appealing for new people. It is a complicated thing to work with an IP that's been around since the 70s, but oh man, would that be fun to get a shot at it.
Scooby-Doo meets the top podcast. What a movie.
We would have to talk like that too, like because Scooby-Doo used to bring in like characters.
Yeah,
like
the Batman, the Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sylvester Stallone.
Hey.
Hey. I can't. I tried to pitch it.
And,
I couldn't.
and you have to like talk to. You have to meet them as if like you're also introducing them. So it's like renowned to a very, very, very small group of people, elite podcasters, Mike, Rob, and Lou.
I'm like eating a bowl of Jello.
What setting would you have it in? What's
Yeah, pitch it. Let's pitch it.
Would you be like a modern set, like in just a city, or would you
Yeah.
like go something like they're in they got trapped in a theme park style Western?
I mean, theme park is a classic. It's so good. I do like Western. I think you'd have to look at what had been done recently, and more importantly, I think whenever you're doing any story with a monster, your setting should reflect your monster. You know, so whatever the real starting place would be to start with what do we want the monster to be, and then, well, I guess you could go the other way too, because Camp Scare was really great, where they went, we want to do summer camp, and so they just went with classic summer camp legends as the monsters. I don't know. I haven't actually put thought into this. It's just something I've always thought would be cool to do.
I think it'd be funny if somehow we were in it, like Lou was animated like anime, and we were each like our quote unquote preferred animated styles.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be interesting.
So Lou was always
you get
sliding his
pressure.
fingers up his glasses.
Shing, shing. Impossible.
Lou, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is traveling. I have not done enough traveling in my life, and I do not want to be stuck in Michigan forever. I would just love to just get out there. So me and my wife got our passports, and
Stuck.
it,
This ungrateful.
it's
trade
just
spots
great.
with
I think Michigan is great. I'm not trying to like. I could be in North Dakota. You know, like
Hey, now
there's
watch it.
you know,
Could be worse.
it could always be worse. I just think it's crazy that there's this whole world out there, and people will be born in Michigan and die in Michigan, and never really leave the state unless it's like Ohio or Indiana or the occasional trip to Canada when you're 18 and you're
Or
trying to drink.
New Orleans, you know.
All I'm saying is that I'm trying to travel out here. So 4 places I would love to go. First one, Maui, still in the States. I've heard so many good things about Hawaii. I've also heard that it is insanely expensive there now. But yeah, I would love to go. I've heard it's like heaven on earth or paradise or all that jazz. I would love to get some like super fresh tuna, just like caught right off the ocean, minus all the worms. But yeah, I think it'd be very, very cool.
Get a luau.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty like basic, but I wouldn't mind that pig. I would like to try some of that pig that they put in the stick. But yeah, I wasn't gonna do the whole like getting laid joke. I think that's been way overplayed.
Ba-dum-ts.
And then yeah, 3 other places: Italy because my grandfather's from there, and food. New Zealand because I think it's just absolutely beautiful there. Love just to soak that all in. And then I mean, if you know me, you know me. I would love to go to Japan. I just even the small idea of just standing in front of all these Japanese people and them pointing at me and being like Godzilla.
Did you take that from your mom joke?
No, I took
That used
I
to
might
be your
have.
mom's so fat joke.
No. This is just I was just trying to pull a joke. I don't think it went well though. Yeah,
Mike
the food.
you got a laugh from Mike.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, Mike's a laugh slut. I mean, come on.
Dang.
Like, it doesn't count. But I do appreciate it, though. It does boost the ego. Makes me go hard in the bedroom.
Again, Mike is editing this episode.
I'm going to get fired from my job. Sorry. Yeah, so I want to eat all the foods. I want to eat the takiyomi. I can't remember what it is. I want the sushi. I want the ramen. Apparently pizza's good over there, which is crazy, but I really want to climb Mount Fuji. It takes about 5 to 10 hours. Probably more 10 hours because of how big I am. But there's a thing where they give you a stick, and every point you hit, they'll brand the stick. And so I just think that's like the coolest thing. And the view is beautiful from what I can tell, and that'd be like a nice little bucket list accomplishment to to hike a mountain.
Would
Yep.
you go to Studio Ghibli Land?
I would do as much as I could. There's no way, unless I'm there for a whole month. There's no way I could touch everything.
Hey, I
But
got
yeah,
I got a group of friends going next year. If you want to start saving your pennies, put in a good word for you.
I don't know how I feel about going with random people, but I appreciate it though. It's like, hey, one of you has to give out your kidney. This guy. It's like, no. I thought we were friends.
Friend of a friend.
Yeah. All right, man. It's pretty obvious who's going to lose the kidney here.
If you want to hear more about Lou's at least desire to go to New Zealand and where we've all been and some of our favorite places, go back a few episodes to our top 5 places we've been.
Sounds like a great episode.
Yeah.
It got good reviews.
Did it?
Sounds like it's really, really worth a watch.
It's true. So my number 3.
I don't have it in me to self pitch.
No.
Could you not tell?
Yeah, I could. Ooh.
So my number 3 is I've always wanted to, be in a band and play a concert. The problem with that is I'm not very good at singing and I'm not very good at guitar, and I don't really have the motivation to get better. So best I could do is like the rhythm guitar and a folk band and sing, some harmonies. But that's one of mine. I don't count. I've been in worship bands and all that, but the point of that is you're worshiping and trying to give glory to God and not trying to put on a concert, even though some churches do. But that's neither here nor there. So
Shots fired.
it's something I've always wanted to do. So if you know anyone that wants someone that can play basic chords and has an okay range, or has like one range that they're okay at, hit me up. I can play bass. Actually, I'm starting to really like bass because it's good for guys with big hands.
Bass is pretty fun, actually. I enjoy playing bass immensely.
Every time I go from playing bass to regular guitar, I just feel like I picked up a child's instrument with the size of the fretboard and like the space in between the strings.
When you're in the groove on bass, though, it's like, oh man, it's just different than playing guitar, and in a really good way. Like, I always thought it was just going to be more boring guitar, but it's a different experience, and I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe learn the fretboard. Like, I didn't know notes on a fretboard. I just knew where to put my fingers for chords. But since sometimes you can play chords on bass, but for the most part you're not. So kind of made me learn what notes were where on the fretboard. Mike, how was being in a band? I know you were in one. What are your thoughts on it? Is it over glamorized, or was it fun? What's your 2 cents?
It's weird because playing a show that goes well is not over glamorized. It is one of the coolest experiences ever. But at the same time, the sheer amount of work required is often not brought up. It's not easy. Even if you're not writing the songs, you got to be practicing all the time. You got to be showing up to rehearsals. It's a big time commitment, and it's very tiring.
Do you guys ever have a bit to try to draw people in? So like 21 Pilots, when they were still growing, they would like play in the skeleton costumes that they became kind of famous for later, or like gorilla suits, just try to get people like to come listen to them.
I forgot about that.
Oh, no. We always just played mediocre music with extreme passion.
Passion can carry a song,
Yeah, that's true.
It did exclusively. That and Josh Scott's drums.
You guy's a beast.
Mm-hmm. Lou, if you had to play in a band, what instrument, like your standard rock band, we'll say, what instrument would you want to learn to play? Or is that later in your bucket list?
Not later on my bucket list. No, I've always been a drum guy. I tried to do drums in band and when I went to school, but they put me on tuba instead. So, but I've always had a thing for drums. I always thought it'd be cool if I did some type of horn, some type of trumpet or something, like in a ska band or something. I'm not huge into ska music, but when it hits, I think, for me. And I don't know, I could just see myself in like a full tie suit thing with a cool little hat. I don't know.
Just your fedora, make you look like a blues brother?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much is what I'm painting the picture as.
Dude, playing the drum set, it is so difficult. I had a drum set for like a month, and then I ended up moving to a one-bedroom apartment, so I had to give it back. But, man, it was... I knew it was going to be hard going in, but it was very difficult, the coordination and everything.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a special kind of person. Have you guys seen? I don't know if we talked about this in the pod already, but have you seen? There's a video of Chad Smith, the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, where he's listening to a song he's never heard of, and they take the drums out of it, and he has to put his own version of drums on it.
I have not. That sounds interesting though.
Oh, very cool.
It is a very cool. Yeah, Chad Smith is extremely talented, and he looks just like Will Ferrell.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's a Lions fan.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
very
he's at
cool.
I saw him like the Instagram. He's at all the home playoff games and everything.
I wonder why he's a Lions fan. He's from Minnesota.
I know because I think someone like grew up in Michigan or had some tie to Michigan because they've had like songs about Detroit and Michigan. Don't know what the tie is there. If you know, please leave it in the comments down below. Mike, what's your number 3?
I would like to cook a batch of mac and cheese that elicits a vocal reaction from my father.
Dang.
It's just that the guy doesn't express verbally when he enjoys food. He's not like, "Oh man, this is so good." Objection! But I want
you want to
make...
cook something for Mike's dad too?
What?
Sorry, I thought it was too good to not pass up.
I mean, to be fair, I also wish I could bring your dad back from the dead with mac and cheese. But
Hold up.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I did not expect it to turn this way. That's hilarious. Good stuff. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad you took it
I
as
think
such. I was like, this is really...
yeah, and maybe I talked about my dead dad too much on the pod, but oh, shit.
No, that's my gimmick. Come on.
Hot damn. Good stuff. No,
but
yeah,
like,
sorry, continue.
Oh no, you're good. I've been making mac and cheese for Thanksgiving for every chance I get for a couple years now, and I've got rave reviews from everybody. I know he liked it, but like I just want to make the bite. I want to figure it out. It's just like a personal mission I'm on to get the perfect batch where he's just like, oh man, that's it.
Now I really want to pay him to be like, hey, I'll give you like $10 if you start to act like you like it, and then you'll be like, yeah, it's all right. So like, I just see Mike, like his shoulders pop up. He starts getting this smile across his face. His eyes are bulging. He's like, yeah, it's pretty good. But she's like, looks like it's building up in him. And then nope, nothing.
Does he know that you want this?
Oh no, then it would cheapen it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I know him enough to be like, if he knew that you knew this,
he probably wouldn't.
He would never.
He'd make sure
he would never do it for you. Yeah, he would never. Even if he was creaming in his pants, he would not show it to you.
What?
Which is something I would appreciate, in all honesty.
Oh, gosh.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah. I didn't. I just didn't expect him to say that, so I didn't know what to do. I was trying to out yuck him, but it did not work. I got out yucked.
Oh, it can't be done.
You yucked too much.
I yucked and he yummed. Sorry.
Whoa. Welcome to the last episode of the Top Podcast.
Oh man, it's like I knew that I should have. Well, who's next?
You're up, Lou. What's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is very connected to my number 5, but I could not put this on my list. I want to be, when I get older, in my 60s and 70s, I want to be fit. What'd you say? What'd you say?
I asked if you wanted to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Straight up Pokemon. I did put that in one of my papers in college, and I got a C-.
It's probably because you copyrighted. You just copy and pasted it.
I just literally copied and pasted it, and he didn't care. It was his last year of teaching. Yep, I want to be old. I want to be fit old. I want to be... I'm not saying I want to be like 6-packs and all that jazz. I think that's insane. But I would love to be able to be the strongest grandfather out there. I want to be like, my grandpa would beat your grandpa's ass. That kind of thing. So... Yep. Nice burly chest. I'm thinking of like a certain guy, but I'm having a hard time.
You moved to California, you're just working out on the beach gyms all day, every day.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, no, probably not. Probably not. By this time, California will probably be underwater, right? They're drowning out there.
No, I'll probably just burn from the rides.
Oh, tough. Tough. Yeah.
So what's your goal so you don't like throw out your back? Are you just gonna only do arms and legs?
Yeah. So I feel like by the time I'm in my 60s, they'll have like equipment pretty much figured out, and I wouldn't have to do like I would never deadlift. I think if you're deadlifting,
It's a young man's game.
it's a young man's
Just
game,
like
right? Like
stairs.
exactly.
Parks
Yeah,
and
like
Rec reference for anyone out there.
yeah, it's a young man's game. But I definitely like a nice like body squat. I just want to be mobile, and I want to have like a burly chest and a thick mustache.
Ooh.
And I think I want to grow my afro back out. I think that's a nice salt and pepper look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lose a little bit of the gut. Nice big. I want to look like a 70s bouncer. That's what I want to look.
Interesting.
Yeah, platform shoes. I'm bringing it back, baby.
I think the thing for the older generation, and that will be us one day, is I think machines are really where it's at. Like, because then you won't. It's very isolated. You're not as much of a risk as bending the wrong way and throwing your back out or hurting something. So I feel like that's what I'm gonna be hitting come that time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, squats. I mean, I've put a decent amount of weight on my back in the day, and it just doesn't seem worth it. It's just like, why am I putting 315 pounds on my back? It makes no sense to me. Like, just for show.
Yep.
Like it's like it's terrible for you, no matter how well like you do. And there's other people who are gonna like disagree with this, and go for it. But a lot of it is show.
Yeah, that's so much weight, and like, if you want to be like a bodybuilder, sure, I get it. But like,
Gotta be able to squat your body weight, cuz.
No, I don't think so, man. I mean, it'd be cool to be that jacked at that age, but like, as long as you're in decent shape, like, it's not hard to be the strongest grandpa, you know?
I don't know. People be taking that HGH, baby. It's been popping. We have a lot of
That's
roided
fair.
out.
I guess I haven't
Roids? I
like
don't know.
Yeah, it's
really looked into it.
Sorry, I'm all
All right.
natural.
He picks up his Baja Blast.
Hey, I'm already done with it. Okay. Don't need to leave it on. Gonna regret it here when I have to go to bed in like an hour. I have to get up at 4:30 a.m.
Ooh, that's like often you have to do that.
No, it's just because we're flying out tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot.
Come
Yes,
back
yes,
to the
yes.
mitten. My number two, I think I've talked a little bit about it in the podcast, or at least this aspect. But I really want to direct a short film.
Oh, very cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Like hour tops. Like I said, it's a short film. I've always wanted to direct. I like making stuff, and I feel like it's a lot to jump into a full length movie. Try to make a full length movie when you've never directed before, and I just think that would be a good baby step. I have a lot of stuff that are like just kind of tied into that. Like I'd love to do voice acting. Be an extra in a movie and all that. But I think when it comes to like the films and stuff, I've always wanted to try directing. And I think a short film is the way to do it because I can kind of give you a chance to manipulate the shots and the scripts and everything how you want, where you can still like you're not limited to a 10-minute space, but you can kind of stretch your legs a little bit. But then it's not too daunting.
Do you have like an idea of what you would like to do?
Nope, because script writing is a lot more difficult than novel writing.
I can imagine.
I tried writing like just a short script once. I'm like, my goodness, this is so much harder. Especially when I was tied to basically a no budget. I was trying to keep it to something like I could do, which is virtually no budget, and makes it even worse.
What are some like short films that you enjoy?
Dr. Horrible's sing-along adventure blog.
Yeah. Check last week's podcast.
Yep, check
Last week's episode.
That's like the big one. I can't think of a lot off the top of my head. Life, if you're a Four Horsemen and Co. person, shout out to Life.
Hey, good movie.
Yeah, I can't think of any more off the top of my head. How about you? You a short film guy?
I'm cheating and I'm looking it up right now,
Ah.
or my intern's looking it up. I really enjoy, and this is really basic, but I really enjoy the Pixar short films. Those are really cool. But
Aren't those just like the openers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I guess what's the definition of a short film? Because I'm looking it up and they're just regular.
I feel like
movies.
it's like 30 minutes to an hour,
Gotcha.
in my opinion.
Yeah, because a short film, Google saying Waterboy is a short film, which I
don't know
don't
about
think
that.
that's. I don't think that's very true. So.
Wait, with Adam Sandler?
Yeah. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's real, but that's what they're telling me.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your number two?
I would like to find out that Stephen King read my short story Buyer's Remorse. Even more so, I'd like to hear what he thinks about it.
All right.
Majority of people who haven't read it, Stephen King wrote a book called On Writing, and in On Writing there is a prompt for a scene that he tells you to, try writing this, a scene that fits this description. Basically, I just went, hey, you know what? I like this scene. I like the idea, but I basically started thinking about the backstory. And instead of writing one scene, I ended up writing a full short story that built up to that final climactic moment. And so it'd just be really cool to see, hey, what do you think of this story that was inspired by your suggestion? It tends to be one that I get a lot of really good feedback on, even though I don't think it's one of my better ones. And so it'd be really cool to get feedback from the guy who inspired the story. And
And wherever you listen to this podcast right now, go on to our X at the Top Pod and retweet the link that I'm going to at Stephen King with our Top Podcast account and tell him to see if he'll read like short story. I'll put a link there too if you want to read it.
Yeah, 'cause he is on Twitter sometimes too, right?
I don't know if he's on Twitter after the whole Musk takeover, but I figured that's our best bet out of any of our
for sure.
social media.
I thought I remember him talking crap on Twitter. Like he was pretty vocal at one point. I don't know if.
Was that your first?
I'm sure he was at one point.
Was that your first like short story, Mike?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's the opening story in the book.
Is it Steven with a PH, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So yeah, go retweet that, and maybe we can get Mike's number 2 to come true. We're all about making dreams come true here on the Top Podcast. And if you look down in the show notes below, you'll see Lou's GoFundMe for his dream kitchen.
Really, I need a new motherboard because I think that's the reason why my computer's crashing all the time. So
that happens to come with a new computer. All right, Lou, why don't you bring us on around to number 1?
All right, my number 1, super cheesy. I've not wanted this for a super long time, and it's only in this past couple of years where I wanted to do this. But being a father is my number 1.
Aww.
I know. All the hearts are breaking. The flowers are chirping.
The flowers are chirping?
I'm trying it all.
Wasn't that drink you make before the show?
I had a shot of instant coffee. But yeah, I've been wanting to be a father for the past 2 years. 2-3 years. Before that, when I first met my wife, I was like, I don't want kids. Kids are dumb. They're parasites. They'll just take all of our money, and they'll be ungrateful the whole time. But I think I've just been...
So far. I'll let you know if it changes.
But the past couple of years, I think a really big change is that a lot of my friends, or a lot of people that I've looked up to, are fathers, and they're just doing a really good job. And I know that a lot of the times I'm getting like the best version.
Thank you.
Of that. I know I'm getting the best version of them because that's like I'm not seeing the terrible 2:00 in the morning version of the situation. I think when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of fathers around my area. I didn't really have a father figure growing up. I mean, I can get more into that in the future, but because I always talk about my dad, but I didn't always have him growing up, and it's just like awesome to see I kind of like our generation becoming fathers and just learning from the mistakes of our own parents, and just a lot of like mental health and a lot of like things that like, oh, this just didn't work as a kid, so I'm not going to do this, so But yeah, I want to be a dad.
So what type of dad do you think you would be?
Oh, I would be the inappropriate, corny, thoughtful dad, I think. I think I would just be who I am, just with a kid.
That's fair. If your kids played sports, would you be there yelling at the refs?
No, I'd be yelling at, like, so depending on the sport, I guess, there's one. But it would be hard for me not to make fun of the other team, I think. Especially if my kid was good.
Not the adults, but the other kids there. Look at that loser. Missed a layup.
Yeah. I think if my kid was good and he like dominated another kid, it'd be hard for me to be like, yo, you just got dunked on, dog. Go to your mom's house. Or I don't know, just like yeah, stuff like that, I think. But yeah, because refereeing is hard.
Oh, it sucks.
It is not a fun thing. I would never want to be a referee. But hey, if you suck and my kid is dominating you, I mean, it is what it is, big dog. I'm sorry, I get better. Now, if my kid's a bench rider, I think I would just be you'd be the guy that bring the oranges, maybe. I don't know.
Oranges in the
Yeah.
fruit in the juice boxes.
In the juice boxes, and he would be helping me out if he's not playing. So, but yeah,
Would you go crazy for him
You
when
are
he was
here
put in for
to get some exercise.
the garbage time minutes?
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Robert?
I said, would you go crazy?
again? We can both do her.
I said, would you go crazy for him when he got put in for garbage time?
No, because that'd be extremely embarrassing. Just like the last couple minutes of the game,
You go, son.
just so. That'd be
That's
so
my boy.
embarrassing.
That's my boy.
Oh
out
my
there.
gosh. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. No, yeah, no, that's super embarrassing. I've had to do that when I first started, and just the team's already down by 40 points, and they're like, screw it, put him in. Coaches don't even care anymore. Run whatever, I don't care. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I love the idea of you're setting out oranges, you're setting up water, and you're like, I brought you here to get some exercise. If you're not playing, you're setting up.
They walk off the bench and head hung low and just go and start setting up the oranges right next to the court.
He loses. The coach is calling on him, but he's in the middle of cutting oranges. I think to be a good athlete as a child, I think you just have to kind of just know what you're doing a little bit. I think a lot of it is just, do you actually know the sport?
Yeah,
from that.
a little talent will carry you a long way if you're a kid.
Yeah. Do you know which way you should be going? I think that's
Oh, you're talking 7th, 8th graders? Just
yeah, because when I started playing football, I didn't know anything, I don't remember being taught anything either. I was just go hit that person. It's okay, I don't know. It's
deal.
a lot of it is just confidence and just kind of knowing the game a little bit. A really cool example is when the quarterback would take a knee just to run the timeout. I thought the whole team had to take a knee, so I was an offensive lineman taking a knee. And I did this until 11th grade. Nobody told me that I shouldn't be taking a knee. I thought take a knee. I was why do I need to take a knee? Take a knee. I was telling the center to take a knee. Dude, you're an idiot.
What about you, Mike? Was being a dad ever on your bucket list? Or is it just I'll be a dad someday? I'm trying to give you an out.
Definitely wasn't on my bucket list. Very glad we ended up having a kid, but wasn't something that I was yeah, this is definitely something I want to do someday. And all the things that I was man, this is going to be exhausting, and all the reasons I thought, I don't know, they've all definitely been accurate, but they have not for a second overshadowed how good it's been, if that makes sense. It's every reason I ever had to not want to be a dad turned out to be dead on the money, but it wasn't a good reason not to be a dad.
Mm-hmm. What's one tip you'd get to any expecting toppers out there?
Okay, so I can't speak for mothers. For fathers, give it 6 months. You'll like them eventually, I promise.
It's like having a puppy. My wife didn't like our dog for the first 6 months. Not comparing
that was,
dogs to people.
Same thing. Did you have that? I feel a lot of fathers say when the first time they held their kid, it was magical, their first kid. I think I've heard it.
It wasn't magical.
No, it wasn't
I don't
magical.
understand what the heck people were talking about.
It's dirty.
Would have been nice. I was tired. She was smelly. The whole thing. I did not have that.
Okay, good to know. I don't want to. A big thing on this podcast recently has been, trying to set realistic expectations. So that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep it real.
Now, that being said, we've all met me in my emotional bandwidth. So, capacity, perfect word. Thank you. So that could just be me. There's always that possibility.
I know you don't watch on YouTube, but switch over to YouTube. Let us know if you felt that with Thor.
Well, with a name like Thor,
That's what I was
a little different.
Yeah. What a strong name.
My number one is the most unattainable one. So I felt like I had to put it at number one because that's I don't want to say it's the peak, but the pinnacle. That's the one. I feel like there's a phrase for that. Yeah, that's the big one, and that
Anal?
is no. Once again, I have to remind you, Michael is editing this podcast.
You were just building it up.
Sorry, that's gonna be gold.
No. I mean, anal in your wife. You can't get me in trouble for anal with your wife. It's your wife, okay? If it's consensual. If you can't have anal with your wife and she's cool with it, what can you do? Sorry, Robert. What's your number one?
My number one is go to space.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Whether that is, just the go up, you're there for a little bit, and then go down. It doesn't have to be a full moon landing. But I've always just loved space, been intrigued by it. Hopefully nothing bad happens. And I do think at some point, commercial space travel, even if it's just what I was talking about, will be a thing. I might be, 80, 90 years old when it actually becomes like obtainable for average people, not the super wealthy. But that's like the dream right there. I think it would be so cool, and I would love the opportunity. So if anyone can get in touch with Elon Musk, let him know. I can go mine some space rocks for you.
I think it's like kind of possible to get close to space. It looks like. I don't know. How space is space for you?
I guess like just leaving the Earth's atmosphere, so
All of them? Isn't there layers of atmosphere?
Yeah,
or
there's layers. Let me past the stratosphere. Let me look it up.
Like, you remember that? You ever seen like animals in space? Like when they get to a certain height and gravity gets turned off? I know that's not the right way to say it, but are we talking about that kind of space? Or like Matthew McConaughey?
So out of the exosphere, it looks like.
Like straight up Jimmy Neutron.
So that's 440 feet to 6,200 miles, not feet, above the Earth's surface. And I like I said, I do think it's going to start out like airplanes where the super rich can go and, take a trip, and that's how it's going to be for a while. But I think within the next 100 years, there could be commercial space things, especially with I think some of the billionaires, are already kind of working on that technology. So we'll see. Would you guys go to space, or are you just like, no, too risky?
Space freaks me out. I can't do it.
Honestly, I don't even have an interest.
That's crazy to me. I don't. Something I've always wanted, like since I was a kid, I always wanted to experience space. So not having interest is like foreign to me.
I mean, it just seems like, what am I going to get out of it? Ultimately, there's very little practicality on this one.
You get to wear diapers and pee on yourself.
Get to eat ice cream,
Like astronaut ice cream.
Yeah, it's true.
Stupid.
It's crazy though. They say like the people that have done it, like once you see Earth as like just floating in space, like it changes you. Like it puts everything in a new perspective by like how small and like minute we are, and how we are in just the small blue, is it orb or marble? The small blue marble, I think, is what the famous picture of Earth is called from far away. But it's like it just totally reality changing and things like that. And I just think it'd be awesome to, in a sense, to see like God's workmanship from that like height, and just it just be mind blowing. So
Yeah, but like you said, the food's not going to be very good. So that's another.
Hey,
reason not to do
I'll
it.
eat liquid for this to achieve this bucket list.
Eat liquid.
I
wouldn't like. I also wouldn't want to go like under the sea either. Like in the
I
summer.
would give me like space or my area out of trench. I'll take space.
Oh,
I-
given the option, but or having to choose, 100%.
Well, I didn't know you guys were so strongly about not going underwater.
Dude, who knows what's deep in those depths? I'm very much anti deep ocean.
I think there's no difference, but I think you die quicker in space, and I want to die quicker than slower.
I mean, if you're down, if you're like that far down, the pressure,
I think it's equal.
It's true, it would crush you.
it's equally death.
It's still
yeah,
less than a second for both of them.
Yeah. So I mean, I would rather die from an alien than.
It's true. You could land
true.
some space, like alien spacecraft could pick you up, and you could become some part of like science. But there's more possibilities in space than in just the trench.
But if I talk about butt stuff, I'm the weirdo. Okay.
Okay, again, it didn't have to be butt stuff. It could be, dissection like you do in 8th grade science laboratories.
Gosh.
Why would they probe something that's dead? No, they'd cut it open and examine it.
I'm the bad guy.
Mike, what is your number one?
My number one is that I would like to meet the guys from the ATN podcast and toast to Chris Westling. I've talked about this on the show before, but Chris was just super important to me. He was somebody I just connected with on a number of levels. I never met the guy. It's not some kind of parasocial thing. It's just him not being on the podcast anymore, and the reasons he's not on the podcast anymore just leave a massive void in something that I still love and that I still enjoy going back to on a weekly basis. Yeah, it would just be really nice to meet those guys and to be able to share what he meant to me to some of his closest friends.
That's the football podcast, right?
That's the one.
Go and listen to our top 5 sports media. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, there's so many episodes you can go back and listen to that tie into this one. But that's cool.
That is cool.
Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a review, and we'll read it off on the podcast. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and go out there, make a bucket list, and achieve some things.
And avoid the zombies.
Before you die.
Oh.
Bomb.
Come on, Scooby-Doo. We're coming after you.
Gonna solve that mystery.